I'm making a video right now on page 497, number 44. A national opinion poll found that 44% of all American adults agree that parents should be given vouchers that are good for education at any public or private school of their choice. The result was based on a small sample. How large an SRS is required to obtain a margin of error of 0.03 in a 99% confidence interval? Answer this question using the previous poll's result as a guessed value for p hat. You're going to be using algebra here. We know that margin of error is equal to your critical value times your standard deviation. If your margin of error is 0.03, substitute it there. We know the critical value using our chart for 99% is 2.576. The standard error in this case, we're going to multiply by the square root of 0.44 times 1 minus 0.44 divided by n. We now need to solve for n. I'm going to divide by 2.576. We get approximately 0.0116 is equal to the square root of 0.44 times 1 minus 0.44 divided by n. We're going to get rid of that square root by squaring it. I'm going to square this side. So I'm just going to square the answer in my calculator. I get a number in scientific notation. It's 1.356 times 10 to the negative fourth. I'm going to leave that, or I'll change it on the iPad here. I'm now going to multiply by n, and then I'm going to divide by 0.44 times 0.54, and I'm going to divide it by the answer in my calculator right now, which is right here. Again, using algebra. Once you do that, you should get n is equal to 1,817. One thing I forgot to say in class, which I'll mention tomorrow, is you always want to round up when you are solving for n, no matter what the decimal is, excuse me. The next question on it is part B, where it says, now use p hat as 0.5. I just run through the same thing again. 0.03 is equal to my z star, so 2.576. And now what changes is that p hat. We are using our conservative estimate for p hat. Again, use algebra here. I just did it in part A, so if you need help with that more, ask me individually. That's 44. I'm going to now go on to 47. Again, that's more algebra. If you read through 47, it says, according to the Gallup poll report, 64% of teens aged 13 to 17 have TVs in their rooms. Now remember, that 64% is a p hat. That's a statistic they found. Later on, you read and you see that the margin of error is plus or minus 3 percentage points. Now it says we omitted the confidence level from the footnote. Use what you've learned to determine the confidence level, assuming the Gallup poll took an SRS. So in part A, what I want to do is I want to say, okay, I know it's 0.03 is my margin of error. I don't know my critical value, Z star, but I do know my p hat. And I also know my ed. In the problem, it does say it interviewed 1,028 teenagers. We're now going to use algebra to solve for z star. You're going to take 0.03 and you need to divide it by whatever you get for this square root. When you do that algebra, and if you can't do that individually by yourself, let me know. When you do that algebra, though, you should get a z star of approximately 2.0039. From there, you're going to estimate, okay, well, that's pretty close, 4/100ths of the way to a z star of 1.96. A z star of a 1.96 gives us a 95% confidence level. Part B then says, give an example of practical difficulty that could lead to biased results for this survey. They put non-response bias. Another one could be response bias, people lying. Non-response bias would be people not wanting to answer. So I've just done number 44 and 47.